and hopefully Jake will be able to pop in here. All right, so it is 6:02. I'd like to call this meeting to order, January 18, 2022. East Bay Parks and Recreation, man. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me. Started off with a yawn.
Commissioner LaRose, would you be so kind to do the roll call?
LaRose, present. Straczynski. Present. Walsh.
Present.
Andrews.
Present.
Layton.
Present.
Garland.
Present.
Lunds.
Present.
All right. Moving down to approval of the agenda. If everybody has a moment to look that over, and then I can entertain a motion in a second.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for January 18th, 2022 Parks meeting.
We're still on approval of the agenda. I'm sorry.
Agenda.
Oh, I did the same thing, Sue.
Sorry, approval of the agenda of January 18th Parks Commission meeting 2022.
I'll second.
All right, second. Motion by LaRose, second by Lutz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Review of conflict of interest. Does anybody see any conflicts of interests?
No.
All right, moving along here, we'll move to public comment, and it doesn't look like we have any public. So we can move forward from that to item G, approval of the minutes, December 20th, 2021, regular meeting.
Hey, Mr. Chair, your staff consultant just called and said that he went off into a ditch and wondering if you can delay about 15 minutes. So they're shouldn't take him too much to get off and come on to.
Sure. I was going to say, where we at? We're just at approval of the minutes, so we can hang tight here for a little bit and then jump back at it.
I just told him I'd let you know and to be safe, so.
And if you can't make it, we can, move along without him too, I'm sure.
Sounds
Try
good.
to.
Does he have your cell number, do you know?
I don't think he does.
Okay, I may text him that too.
Okay.
Oh, here he is.
Oh my gosh.
Holy cow.
That was an impressive 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
No worries.
We're approving some minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have so far what we have. The only thing I want to say about the minutes is, I think, or not, unless it's not, I just, approval of the minutes from last week's meeting, or last month, is Garland. Is her name on there for present? I don't think it is, if we could add Sabrina
Thank you for that.
Oh,
Garland on there.
yeah.
And other than that, they're very thorough minutes, and I make a motion to approve them.
Second that.
Second, so.
Okay. So motion by LaRose, second by, sorry, Andres, sorry. I'm having a rough week. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, hearing none, motion passes. All right, now we will move down to correspondence. And then do we have correspondence? Let me see.
No.
I think it just skips down to reports. So going down to the treasurer, revenue and expenditures, item 1, Commissioner Layton, are you able to help us out with that?
Yep, in front of you, page 7 and page 8. Fund 101, general fund, this is just the details that we can overlook to make sure that there's nothing that got put on the wrong line item. Or in case you wanted to know more specifically, all it does is summarize, or page 9 summarizes pages 7 and 8.
Did
The,
they just get switched over to different funds? Is that what you're saying?
what?
Are they just getting switched over to different funds?
No, it's just the details of the fund, to check for errors and to give yourself a better picture on where the money's going. December isn't in every single, like the board meeting fees, December isn't there, and, a couple others that I noticed that, now that I'm talking, I don't remember. Trail management, possibly the bill for that. And also Sue ordered not Sue.
Beth.
Thank you, ordered the swings. So she got 2 ADA swings that we talked about. She got replacement swings, because why not? You're placing a swing order, get replacement swings. She had to get stainless steel chains for the ADA swings, they have to have their own chains. And then, do you remember the swing where like you put the baby or the small person in it, and then you sit across and you swing together? Well, she went for it, and she got it. The person that took the order said this is a fantastic swing, people love it, and there aren't very many in Michigan.
Oh.
And the swing sets at Grace can be expanded, which I think we need to look at,
Yeah.
because there's only 4, just to begin with, there's only 4, and now we're putting an ADA one in, and I'm not sure where we're gonna put in the expression swing, but I would love to see more swings, because whenever I go there, there's like kids waiting for swings.
I mean, do they make, Ryan, you might know, or someone might know, for more handicapped adults, whether they're wheelchair or walker,
I know there's,
they can handle weight, an adult weight system? Well, because we don't really have anything like that for older adults, or adults that might have that need to want to go on a swing.
so I know that there is the wheelchair swings, and I know that there's different types of handicap swings available out there. And actually, during the MParks conference, which is going to be held this year at their Grand Trails Resort, they'll have an expo area where, you know, they'll have a lot of these playground companies and all that, so they'll be able to, you know, really give some detailed information on that. But I do have some information at my office. You know, it's constantly changing, but I do remember, and I can't remember, did I ever send you guys or forward an email about the wheelchair swing? Or was I just talking about it and just didn't follow through? Sorry, I have it somewhere in my email, but it's a good resource. It's a website/magazine called Recreation Management. They put it out every month, and they have all kinds of resources, you know, when it comes to playground, pools, and, you know, other recreational facilities, equipment and stuff. So I'll try to get some resources, just, you know, at the very least for us to browse through. And maybe I'll try to bring it and drop it off here with Beth. So maybe, you know, if you're ever in the area, you could stop by and just look at it
I could put it
too.
in my slot.
They're pretty thick books. You know, they go all out for sending these out to us, so.
Did we, or did we not, try to join that, for the Parks Commission, so we could attend that meeting? Do you know?
I believe we put money in the budget. I'm not sure if we have it, if we signed up for the conference or anything like that. I guess,
I would think that we'd want to at least try to have representation there.
I could try to get some information. I have to teach a class there, and then
And when is that?
It's March 3rd through the 6th.
I'd like to see if we could, whether we have to become a member, or can we just go as commissioners, or what, that we might be able to go to that expo?
Yeah, a lot of times if we're a premier agency and there's staff going to the conference, they usually allow some of the commissioners to go along. You know, I'm going to be there regardless, but, you know, we could look at, you know, what the cost is for, a day pass, and, you know, they do a lot of like little education classes and stuff. I'm not sure if you're familiar with M-Parks at all, Jake, but,
I've gone to a few things of theirs.
okay. So, I mean, you know, they can be a good resource, and some things are, you know, probably just not very applicable for what we do, but it's worth checking out, and I'd be happy to try to get some information. I'll make a to-do list this time around to make sure. So I know I haven't been very good with follow-through lately, so you know, I'll try to make sure I do that, you know, first thing tomorrow morning when I get to work, so.
Somehow, between that attendance and then the adult weighted swing would be good, if there even exists one. Should be.
Are you like talking like a wheelchair kind of swing, or kind of anything for adult?
Either or.
No, that's a good point.
Wheelchair, either or.
There's a lot of adults that love to swing.
What are the regular swings at the park rated for?
Well, you'd have to, for a wheelchair swing, you wouldn't be using the bay that we currently have.
No, I'm just referring to this
A little
regular
slings.
standard swing. Not a handicap.
Okay,
Do we know what those are?
like how much they go for, or?
No, weight.
Like what the
No,
weight limit
no,
is.
we don't have that information for you. No.
No, I mean, we
Because,
have the
I don't know,
swings
Sue.
for children up to a certain poundage, but this commission has never purchased anything, if there is one out there, for an adult size and weighted person.
Are you referring to handicapped or just?
Han- Handicap.
Okay, I didn't know if you were trying to get,
Oh, for
Yeah.
larger people? Is
Yeah.
that what- No. No, I think most of our swings that we have at the parks have a good capacity. The chains are, linked.
Well, they can hold me, so.
Yeah,
I was thinking more someone in a walker or a wheelchair, I don't know, it's out there.
a lot of the commercial grade swings, which I imagine that's what we have, is it could hold quite a bit, so, you know. But as far as the wheelchair, you know, that will be an entire project in itself, because, you know, it's going to have its own, like, area. So, I mean, it's almost, you know, I don't know if we'd look at, you know, small grants or something, but I would anticipate, you know, a $15,000 to $20,000 cost for something like that.
Hey, whatever, wouldn't it be nice to have that as a
Hey.
nice asset?
Well, then if we're.
Well, we'd stand out.
Okay, this is not on our agenda.
Yeah, it's the treasurer report.
Right.
Learn about swings.
Sorry if you did get carried away, but I'll get information regardless.
Okay, we bought swings in December.
Moving forward from the treasurer, is there anything else from that report you wanted to point out, or want to talk about swings a few? Well, all right, we'll move forward to the subcommittee, community garden. Are you able to give us an update on that?
Yeah, we had a full house here tonight, except for MSU, but, so we had TCAP school, the library, then we had Citizen at Large, and Corey, myself, Beth, and Seeds were all there. We focused on tonight's meeting of looking at more of the educational element of the community garden. So Elise, the commentator and coordinator, she came up with a list, and from there, we edited it just minorly and gave her approval to go ahead and send that out to the schools and to get their feedback first. So the first step is getting the educational part or component of the community garden. And then the second component would be from there, looking for the plots, the public plots and what those questions would consist of. So we put educational first on that component, and then the second will be going out to the public to get their input back on that with a questionnaire. So I believe it's moving right along. Corey, I think Corey said in her notes from Elise that she'll take and get that, comprise that list of questions, and we are all hoping we'll have that response back in time for the next meeting, which is February 22nd at 4:30.
So when you say like the education component of it, are we talking like, a specific type of program?
Community partners, we're
Yeah.
asking our community partners, how would you like to use the community garden?
And
Okay.
and for the schools, what would they use it for, what kind of programming that they see? And so she had 6 lists of questions, and within those 6 lists of questions, there were choices to choose from. So I think we should get, what do you think, Corey? I think we should get a really good feedback on the questionnaire.
Okay.
For, on that educational part. We also brought up, like 4-H might be, have interest, junior achievement, all kinds of that for the educational piece. And composition. That's on discussion too.
Okay. Has anybody got any feedback related to the community garden update? Not hearing any, we'll move down to the supervisor report, but I don't believe we have anything from the
Not sure
supervisor
about-
tonight.
I'm not sure Beth's going to join us tonight.
Yeah, it didn't sound like she was going to be here, so.
She said she doesn't have to know that you're here.
That's true.
Moving down to item 4, Parks Commission Consultant. Guessing that would be you, Jake.
That is I. I wanted to let you know that we have removed from the correspondence the minutes from all the other boards. We found that that was taking up too much paper and wasting space. So if you want to review trustees' minutes, planning commission minutes, they're all on the website. It's pretty easy to navigate and, find which ones you're looking for. So we took those out. Hopefully it makes the meetings a little bit smoother, and also, I don't think you guys are reading 20 pages of minutes anyways, so
Yeah.
it's probably all for the best. Another thing is, I believe Beth had a couple of documents that she needed some of you to sign. Have you all had the chance? If you know what I'm talking about, let me know.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it here, and I think it was just waiting on my signatures, so I'll make sure I get those taken care of.
Okay, and I think there was someone else she was hounding.
Commissioner LaRose,
Okay.
but she's already got it.
Good. And lastly, just a reminder, we are going to have a exception for our regular meetings next month too, due to the similar holiday, so another Tuesday. But those are the important housekeeping items that I have for you today.
Okay. All right, moving along here down to J1, Grace McDonald Park.
Does that start on page 17?
I have page 17, so I'm assuming it's probably the same for you all.
Yep.
Yeah, 17 here.
So who has, Jake, do you have information on the review attached sign-up schedule for weekend site visits? What's that about?
So if you want to break this down to 2 different parts, we have the memo about Grace McDonald Park, and then as well, we have a sign-up sheet. So the sign-up sheet is for taking kind of a head count at Grace McDonald Park over the next, I believe it's 6 weekends, starting this weekend and going until February 20th. And Commissioner Garland has already begun that process of taking some head counts from last weekend. And so the idea is so that if we can break up this task, there's 3 time slots for each day of the weekend. So 3 slots for Saturday, 3 slots for Sunday. And going out to Grace, taking a head count, and taking down some notes, which I believe Commissioner Garland can explain to you how she achieved that, but it doesn't sound super hard, and just showing up, kind of taking notes. And that information will be very helpful for us for the grant application, kind of getting a sense of the volume of use that we have at the park. So I'm putting this in front of you today so we can start getting some names down and breaking it up. There's 10 total days, 30 total slots. So if everyone, I think if everyone maybe took a day, or I think I can help out with this too, we can get most of these slots filled up.
So when I did it this last weekend, it kind of came from a discussion with Beth that loops back to the coffee and chocolate, which we'll talk about. But any case, she was saying she'd really like data. I did not specify the activity they were doing on my spreadsheet, and I just did she asked me to do number of cars, number of people, the time, and the temperature. So that's what I did on the spreadsheet I sent her. I don't know if you got that.
I think I got it either yesterday or earlier
Yeah.
today,
So I will say they were all sledding. They were all sledding or sitting in their car for the activity. So there's not a lot of variety, at this point. But it really was pretty fast. I just pulled in, counted, came back 2 hours later. So
Are you able to share any of the,
data,
yeah,
well, it's on the spreadsheet.
I'm sorry.
I will tell you this, you know how cold it was Saturday? It's that beautiful blue, but it was cold. When I first showed up, I might be wrong, 7, 9 people, I think, at 11. I was really surprised. At 1, there was more. I can't remember. But at 3, there were like 36, which really was surprised, because it was still cold that day.
You say 36?
I think it was 36, 30s. Let's call it 30s.
So 30 cars there or people?
30 people.
Okay.
About 11 or 12 cars is my memory.
Okay.
And then Sunday, only 3 at 11, a family of 3, 1 car, I think it was. But again, it was like, and then there were 2 different groups, though, that came at 1, and there were other groups at 3. So, I mean, I was really surprised. There was much more activity than I expected. The hill was very busy. Even though there's not a lot of snow out there, they were all very happy. A couple of the kids I talked to said, hey, this is great. We love this hill. So I was excited about the amount of activity.
I couldn't do this weekend.
So I gave each of you a sign-up sheet so you can jot your own name down, but I'll use it for my own records. And then when we're back on the 22nd, we can just all turn these in with the notes if you don't want to mess with getting online and messing with the spreadsheet, and I can manually enter all the data. But I will mark down everyone who has an available slot and put them into line so we can see what we have. So there's 11, 1, and 3 p.m. So those are the 3 times we're looking at.
So there's 30 total slots, it looks like. So divided by 7, right? Is that how you're figuring?
Does that include last weekend's in your 30?
No, this is just looking forward.
Right, so I'm just saying it was really then 36. I just want to get credit for my 6.
Okay, so
What did you say Saturday?
I can do all this weekend.
How about if I do Saturday and you do Sunday? Weekend.
No, it's fine.
Because if all of us do 3, that's getting close to getting them all covered.
Well, you can mark off 2 of them because the 5th, we should all be there. So on the 5th, actually getting rid of that, so we're actually looking at 28 slots.
Okay, only 4 times. I'll do Saturday.
Are we looking to sign up, put names up to each date right now, or are we able to do kind
Yeah,
of a doodle?
I'm going to hold you accountable to this right now, so.
I'll take the 29th.
Okay, so when we say that, are we just going to volunteer people saying the whole days?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and are you saying, like, we just do, because it sounded like what you did, Sabrina, is you went there at 1, then you went home, warmed up.
5 minutes.
Or 11, then you went at
like
1,
5
then you
minutes
went at 3. You
Right.
didn't stay there for.
Oh, no, no,
between
no. You
11
come
and
in,
1.
you count, you go. Or if you want to stay, you can, but no. The whole idea was just to go
3 times.
3 times.
You know,
I mean,
yeah.
unfortunately, we're close. I set my phone for 15 minutes before, so I wouldn't get distracted and forget.
good idea.
Okay. Is that okay if I take Saturday?
I don't care. I would have done both Saturday and Sunday, all time slots. If you want to take
I just
Saturday.
saw my schedule, it would probably
Sure.
be best to take the first one, run it.
Okay, so who's doing the 22nd?
Susan,
And who's doing the 23rd?
I am, Zach.
I'm doing the 29th.
I'll do the 30th.
I was going to say, I'll do the 5th, but we'll all be there.
No, you can.
I'll show up early on the 5th, the
Like-
11th slot there, just to get out of the way.
Thank you. So we're looking at, the Sunday the 6th.
Well, I might possibly be in town the 20th, but that's the only one I will be in town for, if I am then.
February 20th,
Yeah,
do you want to take it?
only if I have to.
I'm going to have to do the 19th. That's the only one I can do. Saturday, the 19th.
Do we have February 20th on there yet? Anybody for that?
Yep.
February 20th, Sabrina.
Oh, I thought Sabrina said maybe. Is that maybe?
I mean, I might be, but that's the only
We'll
one.
have a meeting before that. We'll have
No.
another park meeting before that.
No.
No, it's after.
22nd.
Yeah.
Well,
I cannot do Sundays.
We'll just do this, we'll just go through the list here, and we'll just, for Saturday 22nd, we
Susan.
got Commissioner LaRose, January 23rd,
Zach.
Commissioner Andres, Commissioner Lutz for the 29th,
Kaczynski?
For the 30th.
Nobody, or,
All of us for the 5th.
yeah, Jake's coming in early. So we have,
Jake, all right. So
Corey, you said the 19th,
I can
right?
do the 19th.
we had 3 days.
I'll do the 6th also. Was that Super Bowl Sunday? Is that what we said? I don't really care. It's like 5 minutes.
I was going to say, I can do
It'll
it
be
too,
late
just
anyway.
as easy. I'm not signed up for anything yet, so.
Well, we got more opportunities.
We got Saturday the 12th and Sunday the 13th, and then they're all taken.
Well, we're on February 6th,
I'll
so,
do the 6th, because I'm probably gonna be out of town the weekend of the 12th, 13th.
okay.
So I'll do the 6th.
Okay, February 12th, I can do that one if everybody's okay with that.
Oh, take 2. Why don't you do Saturday and Sunday?
Hey, I can do that.
You can?
Yeah, I can.
Let's do
I'm pretty
it.
sure. Might be able
Oh,
to
that's.
get me out of the house.
That's the thing.
Right? It is a thing.
Schedule leave the house.
All right, I'll take the 12th and the 13th for these
Okay.
times.
And I would like a backup for the,
I'll be your backup for the 20th. How's
yeah,
that?
and actually, if you could just plan on it.
Yeah, we can
because
like
I've
both get
done
together.
two, and so, when I looked at this first, I thought, well, I'm going to have to do another one, but
All right,
that'd be
so,
great. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah,
That's a full schedule, everyone.
not too painful. Good job.
all right, so that covers everything there. All right,
So I'm sorry, Jake, so then do we just email you our notes?
So, I mean, depending on how you're planning on doing it, you have the form here, so if you want to use this and bring it back on the 22nd, I'll just collect them all, and I can manually get the data the way that Carl will be able to use it. But if you're doing it, if you are typing it up, just let me know and send it to me.
Because I thought it'd just be easy to sit down and shoot you
Yeah.
5 minutes and send you an
then you have
email.
it for our
Yeah.
meeting. I have-
Yeah, the one thing I do worry about is then getting 30 emails and losing track of the data.
Right.
Oh,
So if you do it all in, you have all the times you go right here, you bring it back and just hand it to me, I can already just have it plugged in and ready to go.
yeah,
don't lose
almost
this
have
form.
a spreadsheet ready to go to just plug in.
I was thinking like a Google Sheets, you share the link, we all input it, but okay.
That's what I was thinking, that might be confusing.
All right.
Now, do I?
We'll just fill out the form.
Kids?
I'm used to those.
Count everyone who's there.
Yeah, and don't forget to check the cars of the
People?
adults sitting, waiting while their kids play.
So, number of guests, type of activity, number
How
of
many
cars, and the
cars?
temperature.
I
Sounds
thought
like-
the temperature was key, or, if it's raining.
Yeah, it sounds like we weren't even documenting the type of activity, just amount of people you can count, cars, temperature.
Temperature as well,
Okay.
yeah.
And this is for the warming hut grant research?
Correct.
Yes.
So this will be useful information that we can apply to the
90% of them are
the
probably
grant.
going to be sledding, so.
Yeah, I mean, I could say there were, over the whole weekend, there were 2 different groups at the swings. So, other than that, everybody was sledding, or in their cars.
All right, we'll move forward down to American Rescue Plan Act. Did you want to? Let us know anything in particular on that, Jake, or?
Well, I had also just included just a brief review of where we had been with the Grace McDonald Park project, and how it relates back to the action plan that we have for the Parks and Recreation Plan. Currently, either everything that we've planned for has been completed or is scheduled to be completed this year, except for the warming hut building. So that's the one outstanding thing we have left to do for Grace McDonald Park. Been in contact with Carl Ferguson. Him and I are going to be attending some sessions for the MDNR grants, and he's identified which track he wants to go through. So he's planning on writing that grant next month, and in March, February, we're going to be presenting a resolution of support for the Parks Commission. March, they'll be getting that same resolution of support from the Board of Trustees, and probably submitting the grant shortly after that. So I just wanted to let you know that these last things that we are doing is part of that, and it's going to be helpful. This event that we're going to have, the sledding, is going to be helpful for the grant, and getting this data will be very useful to prove that we actually have a need for it.
Sure.
Which is, for some of these grants, it's not everyone gets to include it, but you are competing against a lot of other people for some of that money. So everything that we can do to help support our grant here is going to turn into tangible things that we can see with that warming hut, depending on how they view our application. I guess that being said, we can transfer to the next part about ARPA. And I have been just recently notified that it sounds like some of the the ARPA criteria has changed recently. I mean, as I mentioned earlier in this particular report I wrote for you, that it was for these low maintenance, single purchase items, we had kind of all been under the impression of, it sounds like it's loosening up a little bit. So I think it frees us up to pursue a few more things than we thought we could. So that being said, I just wanted to present where we're at with some of our goals that we have in our Parks and Recreation plan. With the exception for the warming hut of Grace, the top 3 priorities of that plan have been completed. So Grace has been completed. Arbutus, which I believe is number 2, is in the process. I'm trying to remember what number.
Grace is number 3. I mean,
Grace is number 1.
5 is number 3. The community garden is number 2.
Community Garden's number 2, which we're in the midst of doing, and
I feel like the dog park was, up there for the longest time, but then it kept on going back and forth.
Dog Park is not in the 2019 to 2023
It's a
Parks and
blurb
Recreation
somewhere
plan.
in case we made movement.
Okay.
It
So-
was, we very specifically, and I couldn't find it super fast. We added it without adding it, in case, like I said, in case we had movement. Yeah.
Okay.
Grace was number 1. Number 2 was the community garden. Arbutus was number 3. Killingsworth was number 4. Acquisitions, 5, yeah, that's in front of you now.
So seeing that those top 3 items are either complete or in the process of being completed, I think that we can start eyeing some of the projects further down the priorities that we haven't gotten around to. Killingsworth leading that, being number 4, and the other ones being slightly more kind of dependent on the context of what property values are looking like. As you might know, we're really looking at some property down by the lakefront near Johns Park. Doesn't really seem like that's going to pan out. And the additional priority that the Parks Commission has is doing some trail studies and acquiring property to help serve that project, which is why I included some of the maps that we have in the plan, kind of getting a sense of where we are physically in the township with the rec facilities and the trails that we have, or planned trails. But I think with the ARPA funds, it might not be a bad idea to kind of maintain that previous guidelines moving forward, thinking about it as this is probably not going to be a recurring, recurring monies. So if it's something that requires a lot of maintenance, we have to do something with the budget. So it might be wise to kind of steer towards that guideline that was set originally, even though they are loosening it up a bit. Because anything that is going to, involve multiple purchases or maintenance is going to be something that's going to come out of the township budget.
Sure, and I'm trying to, now, the ARPA funds, that request is a request that we would make to the Board of Trustees, correct?
I believe that they would have to approve anything that we,
So, I mean, do we have any idea of what their priorities are on, so to give us an idea of, what we can ask for? Because we could put a lot of time and effort into this and put together a pretty good list, but, if park improvements is, not high on their priority list, I mean, there could be other needs that they want to address before they look at parks. I just want to kind of know. I know that's kind of where we're at in the county too, so, but I thought my understanding was that there was more flexibility with, what the funds could be used for on the township level, but I could be wrong.
right. But I guess, we are bound by just being part of the general township, so we can't just go around and spend the money like it's ours, even though we have some of the ability to choose what it could go towards. But that's a good question. I don't know exactly what the township's board's priorities are right now. And you're right, we could be wasting effort thinking too hard about it if they decide that they want to use those funds for other things. My suspicion is, though, the fact that we had been presented with this by Beth, to me implies that there's probably going to be something that we can find ourselves looking at with some of these funds. But I don't have a budget or or I don't really know exactly what is in the township board's priorities. It probably would be a lot easier if there was something that was maybe on a trustee's wish list that we could align our priorities on.
Sure.
So at our last meeting, didn't we clarify like, all parks, trash receptacles, replacing picnic tables and seating, and wheelchair swings, basketball hoops at Grace and Pine Grove? Did we or did we not say, or Beth say that that's just gonna come out of the existing budget, that those funds really wouldn't be used as part of this ARPA?
So as far as there's been things that have been already approved in the budget.
I thought the
Or-
basketball hoops is one of those.
Yes, yes.
That
Yeah,
was
they
already approved? Yeah.
scheduled them to.
Okay. But how about, trash receptacle? I don't know.
How about, well, I guess I don't understand the question.
Can we use that? I thought we had a conversation at the last meeting that, like, the trash receptacles, replacing picnic tables and seating, the wheelchair swing, that's pretty much all been taken care of. Basketball hoops, those items could not be used for an art.
My understanding is that we agree that trash cans, benches could be eligible projects for ARPA as it was originally laid out for us as the guidelines. The changing guidelines that we have that say we can use it for more things than we thought we could doesn't change that. I think we left it off where we haven't made a determination if that's the direction we want to go in. But it could be possible.
I look at the list that we had, and everyone just jumped in. From my last meeting notes, Killingsworth bathroom, all parks trash receptacles, replace picnic tables and seating, senior exercise equipment, that could have been my own personal take on it, paths created, walking paths created, wheelchair swing, basketball hoops, Grace and Pine Grove, we might as well X that out, because I think those have already been taken care of. And this might have been from my own heart, pavilion, community garden.
I might recommend sticking to the plans that we already have established for the township parks, considering that we have Killingsworth right here at the top of the priorities.
So what are you saying then? What would we use the art for, suggest then?
I would advise that we use the ARPA funds to complete some of the priorities that we have
That
established.
are in our rec plan.
Yes.
On page 34 of the rec plan, there's a sentence that was very specifically put in here that says, lastly, the commission is exploring the establishment of a dog park on a township-owned property. Because when you go for grants, you want it to be in your rec plan, and so that was just kind of our way of,
Mean it there.
Okay, so if we look at our priorities, right, from our rec plan, pretty much, number one was what? Grace, is that what you're saying over there?
yes,
Tori?
number one was Grace.
And so we're pretty much have that all, is that right, under control?
Yes, so the only thing outstanding for Grace is the warming hut project, which is in progress.
Sure.
Okay, okay, so let's go down the list. Number two is community garden. Okay, so we can put that, and that would be sticking to our projects on our priority list.
I don't believe that we would want to look at ARPA funds for the community garden project, considering where we're at currently on that project. I don't think we have anything that we can go out and currently buy with those funds that would, within the timeline that we have to use them.
What's the timeline?
Well, if there was a pavilion or something included in the I mean, that would encourage, meeting space, in an outdoor environment, which would, probably qualify under ARPA.
Exactly.
So I think certain things like that might, we could add it to the list and,
Planting beds?
What's the timeline on ARPA?
I'm not mistaken, I think ARPA, we're looking at 2024,
Oh,
which is going to hit us quick.
I agree. I agree. But,
So-
So that money really could be available. I mean, maybe I'm dreaming, but hopefully by the end of the year of 2022, we should pretty well be
Yeah.
into doing, getting into the dirt by 2023. April, that is my goal. I don't see anything unless we get resistance from other departments, this community garden, but I think we're moving at a good swing.
I thought it was shared last time that they felt the community garden would be there'd be so many grant opportunities for it, that's why it was not suggested to use our ARPA money for that particular project.
well, I mean, technically, we never know if we have our ARPA money to work with, it depends on the Board of Trustees, but, I mean, how would you like to see us proceed as far as, just compiling a list? I mean, do you want us to put together a list here tonight, or did you, should we make like a, should we just base it off of the master plan? I mean, that makes the most sense to me. I mean, because it's already a plan established.
And you said it.
I think what
Stick with
Jake
our
put
plan.
together here, I think Killingsworth was the next on our list that we don't have anything.
momentum going.
Yeah, so if we put that funds towards something there, trail improvement, I mean, he has a breakdown of cost of the bathroom, but that's also adding maintenance, which I'm not sure what.
Well, the bathroom currently already has maintenance tied to it,
we're
so.
just replacing a little bit.
I mean,
Less
wh-
maintenance.
what I had noticed that stood out to me from the Killingsworth section of our plan is that something that we could potentially use with the ARPA funds could be the design, survey, and engineering, and getting that out of the way, which is
For the bathrooms?
the bathrooms, which we could then potentially start thinking about what grants could we go for to help fund that project with already having some of the plans out of the way.
Why wouldn't we do that to our number 2 priority? Why would we run to Killingsworth? I thought Killingsworth for the bathroom was just going to mirror.
Why can't we do
exactly
both?
The other existing bathrooms.
I think the argument was that there's, are you referring to the community garden as number 2?
Right.
Yeah, I think that we were under the impression that there's probably some funding sources outside of ARPA, so, we could, you try to utilize those resources to get funds, rather than trying to focus ARPA funds on that and try to, look at other.
But we currently don't know that.
Yeah.
We're
and
speculating
so
that there's
far, I haven't
funds.
seen floods of opportunity.
I mean, it's why we're exploring using the site from a educational component.
Yeah, and we don't even have an engineer's real outline of that area either. So we could use some of that funding for engineering costs of getting a survey of that area, with this ARPA.
But all we're doing at the moment is creating a list, correct?
Exactly.
Correct.
That's
So
what we're
we
gonna get
have a
into.
preliminary list. We could put 2 and 4 on the 2 and 4 on the list. And then once we have information on if we are or are not going to have an opportunity to apply for funding, and if so, how much, sounds like that's the decision we would make at that point.
Correct.
Yeah,
I mean,
ultimately.
are we getting a little cart before the horse at the moment? Are we just
Yeah,
gonna,
it's just coming up with it. We don't even know, because maybe the trustees don't want to have some of that funding go to the parks. They might see for buildings or whatever. I mean, it's just a dream, really.
So if we do and tie in, number 2 and 4, we could put it on the list and, worst case scenario, I mean, it's going to be the board of trustees that decides which ones that they want to apply ARPA funds to anyway. So, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have it on the list. And, and if something comes up, we could always update them, say, hey, we do have, a funding source for number 2. So, you don't have to worry about that one anymore. Or, I mean, at least it's a list. It's a starting point, I guess,
Yeah, that's I think the goal is to get a list together so we can kind of be early in presenting some of the priorities that we
We
have.
have a list, from last week, and now we're confirming we can put 2 and/or 4 priorities on said list.
I'm just kind of curious. I know the plan, when does our plan expire, 23?
Yes.
The plan expires in '23, yeah.
Which means,
I wonder if any kind of funds could be utilized for the creation of the next 5-year plan.
Well, I guess.
I would imagine that the funds could be used for things like plans.
So, I mean, that's just going to be around the corner. And I don't know the timeline that you guys, I know, like, if I had to put together a 5-year plan, it'd take me like an entire year to do it.
From my understanding, sometimes these plans can get thrown together pretty quickly, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't determine the quality. Because we could spend a whole year deliberating and crafting the plan, and it could be better for it. So,
Well, we've been through 2 plans, and for funding, I mean, we didn't use any extra funds. We did have to get funds for extra meetings to come up with the final
oh
product.
yeah, it was in-house.
But we never had to.
It was all
assign
in-house.
Extra monies for the Parks and Rec plan. It was, putting together ideas where we want to be in the next 4 years.
Well, maybe let's bring this up with Beth, because, I mean, I don't know what staffing levels are looking like for East Bay. She might want to contract out to have the 5-year plan made, because maybe they can't do it in-house because they're so tapped out on staffing.
Yeah, I guess maybe just for printing, but it came from us.
Yeah, no, but the planning and, that could be done either by a consultant or by staff hours, and if it's done by staff hours, it will take a lot of time.
yeah, I don't know exactly to where, the temperature is on that. We are a little bit out from it.
Yeah, I was just throwing it out there to have it as an option, though.
Well, like you said, so I mean, similar
It
to
doesn't sneak
like
up on us.
architectural designs and surveying and engineering for Killingsworth, you could most likely also use those funds to start planning for other things. I think that's what the part of the intention was for opening up some of the uses a bit. So now it's not just single-use, low-maintenance infrastructure. We could maybe use it for, essentially use it for anything the township would normally use monies for, is kind of how it's been explained to me. So anything that the township would normally do, you can now do with the ARPA funds.
Okay.
So, yeah, funding a plan is something that we do, so potentially could use it for that, if that's what we end up deciding that we want to do.
So with all this said and done, I mean, is this a pretty good start to having that list that we're looking for?
I guess what we could do is figure out what options we have available from us from the board. Seeing what their priorities are at, seeing maybe if we have a dollar limit, because once maybe we have that established, we can start actually honing in on something.
Yeah. I mean, Beth might even have some insight on, how big we should look for to as far as planning and ask. So, maybe she could set some parameters for us to go off of. But, all right.
And really, Corey, you could speak on this too. The community garden for priority number 2, we have an estimate of $32,200.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculously low.
I'm just giving heads up on everyone, that, I don't even know who came up with that amount. but
Wow.
it wasn't the Parks Commission. So when you see that and they look at that, I mean, we might want to maybe look at, or do we need to look at this as part of our rec plan, especially because we are moving kind of quickly on this community garden, to look at these estimates, how that's not realistic. We might want to update.
Those estimates will get updated as we get further along in that project.
Okay.
I don't think it would be wise to separate
Do you want to read
that.
back the list?
For what, the ARPA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, please.
I was just concerned because we only showed this minimal amount, so if we use this minimal amount going forward for funding, they're gonna go like, we only got 32,000 in it. That's what I'm saying, I don't know what we need to do to really dissect this a little bit deeper to more of a realistic plan. I'm shooting it out to the professionals.
Yeah, I think at this point of that project, we're a little too early to worry about the dollar amounts for the garden. But it's certainly going to come up as that subcommittee gets further.
Okay, so everyone help me on the ARPA. We said we're gonna go through. our-
Number 4,
We're-
number 2, community garden. Ryan mentioned the 5-year plan. Fund some of that too. Those are 3 things.
Wheelchair
And I-
swing?
Yeah, we can.
With what?
the
Wheelchair
Wheelchair
swing.
swing?
That would be a really cool one.
I was looking at priority 6, trail study and site acquisition. I know we have Hammond Park, maybe fund some of that money to coming up with some kind of trail walk pathway around that property. I mean, that would cover priority 6 potentially, if we want to focus on our priorities.
How
I mean, that's a pretty basic list, going off of our, know what we're working with. I mean, we still have to wait for the guidance of the Board of Trustees, so I don't think we should go too far into it. I mean,
That's what you're looking for, right, Jake? Just quick.
I think we're just kind of
a starting point.
looking at the temperature and figuring out what we would like to maybe do with something, do something that we didn't think we were going to be able to do this year.
Yeah, and with recognizing number 2 and number 4, do we need to be more specific within that recognition, that we might want to put that on our agenda for next month and then just get it done? I'm just putting it out there. Do we need to be specific with that? You're going to say, okay, we want to prioritize and get some money for number 2 and number 4. Do we need to say exactly?
Well, I think we might be a little ways off before we actually get any dollars here. So being specific might not pay off right now. We might want something that we can't get.
We've created a list, we present it to the township, and now they will let us know.
I think with the priorities I have now, just going off of, we're thinking about Killingsworth, thinking about community garden, thinking about future planning, maybe some wheelchair swings, and looking at possibilities for Hammond Park. I think those are some pretty solid places to start,
Yeah, you could sneak Hammond Park in there.
Yeah, can we add senior equipment, exercise equipment, along with that wheelchair swing, adult wheelchair swing?
Sure. I mean, this is all just preliminary at this point. We're not taking a vote or anything,
Well, that
so.
senior exercise equipment, years ago when we talked about the Hammond Park, we always were thinking portable. Something that if we have to move the location, we can just pick up and move.
Okay.
Because our population, I think with the new housing just down the road here, they're anticipating a large percentage to be 60 and older for that community. So it wouldn't hurt to have some senior involvement in the community projects that we have.
Hey, do you have enough of a start here, Jake?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to move along here. Item 3, Grace McDonald sledding event. We've got the little memo.
Yeah, I mean, the memos, we don't really have to spend too long on. I mean, we know it's Saturday, February 5th. We know the time, 1 to 3. Beth has confirmed the township is going to be providing coffee and hot chocolate for the event, so we don't have to worry about getting vendors involved. And in addition to that, we got a press release based off of some of our previous press releases that we've done. I thought you'd want to take a look at it just to get your eyes on it. I'm going to already take out snacks, which I had left in there since I misunderstood
You're gonna change it to coffee.
coffee. Yeah, so we're just going to do hot cocoa and snacks. And in addition to that, I put together kind of like a little pamphlet that we can, just like a little flyer that we can print. This way, we can kind of direct traffic that we get from the event to our website. And I was thinking this could be a good opportunity for us to start discussing what we would want to maybe do with our part of the website. This way, we can kind of just direct people away, say, hey, go check out the township website. And they can get right there in the front, at the top of the page, hey, here's the projects that we're working on, so they could get the info on the warming hut right there.
Hey, Jake, do you know who maintains that? So say, what if up the road, like you want to get some photos, I'm sure you have to get permission from the people that you take.
It's township staff that runs it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it'd be nice to have that ability to keep that always ever changing too, just up the road here.
Right, well, that is coming out of staff hours, so I'm not sure exactly how much time they allot for that, but it's, when I was a township employee, it was coming direct out of our hours.
Okay.
This way too, I mean, you can just hand this out to someone, they can QR code themselves to the website. It would be a good opportunity for us to do that while we maybe let people know we're thinking about doing a warming hut project, but I don't think we need anything too involved. I don't think we want a huge poster board with the thing, because it's going to blow away. Yeah, and so as I think we kind of mentioned at the last meeting, we didn't want to come at people too aggressively, and surveying them and, making them get into conversation with us if they just want to go and have fun. So I thought maybe something that says, if you're actually interested in this, you can go check it out, and we don't have to force someone to listen to an elevator pitch if they just want to chat and get coffee.
So
Yeah.
if we did like postcards like this size, you can have them buy all the beverages, you can sit on there.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. This is like a 4x6 or whatever, so it's a really small printer size. I can make them even smaller, but
Take it into the website.
so with the QR code, you can put your phone camera on it and it'll take you straight to the parks page of the website. So I was thinking even before that, I could see what we could do with the website. We could hopefully before the event, maybe have something saying, it's just a little blurb on the warming hut to say we're working on a grant application.
People just get curious and scan it, and then they're like, oh, and then I see all the cool things we're planning on doing.
Yeah, we can upload photos of the parks, and there's currently a part of the website that has some little blurbs on them, but it could be improved.
It would be nice to update that before the sledding event, like what we're currently working on now for this year and for next year. I mean, that'd be great. A lot of people just don't know, but if they had that QR code, it goes immediately, here's our current projects for this year, this is what is planned for the next 2 years.
That was my exact thought. Yeah, I think this was kind of a.
If we can get it done and somebody can do it, it'd be great.
Is there any kind of like name tags or anything that you want us to wear for this? Like a lanyard
I
or?
believe that Beth had said that she was going to provide some name tags, so I think that's already taken care of.
And did we say this is going to be a cardboard competition?
We didn't include, I didn't have anything in that.
I thought we talked about that.
I said amongst commissioners.
Oh.
Oh, mixed committee.
Well, I mean, we did talk about that too.
We'll just have a race.
Yeah. Oh, a race with,
A race down the sledding hill.
no matter what you choose.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That is the site. All right.
So, yeah, if this looks good, I'll get these press release out to some media outlets. I'll get some of these postcards printed, and I'll get with Beth about what we can do about the website, and I can bring it back as an agenda item if we want to maybe review it more down the line. We could just do something really quick for the event on the 5th. Just get future events or future projects that we're working on and make sure that the sledding, the warming hut's #1, just so that's the first thing you see. But after that, we could get some more features. I know we've been talking about in the past, more, web features that we could have on the website with booking the pavilions or hosting more maps. So,
Yeah, it's kind of a uninspired.
Actually,
I
it's
mean,
hard to
here-
maneuver.
there's a lot we could do.
Yeah.
The pictures are outdated.
I was gonna say, the pictures are, we need updated pictures of the
Bob with
parks.
his motorcycle.
Nice.
Back to the sledding event, are we making like a 8.5 by 11 little flyer too, or? Because I
Just a
think
little.
Beth sent,
Oh, yeah, that color.
yeah, she
Okay.
sent a email to,
Yeah,
I think all of us, but
yeah.
just a kind of idea.
Oh,
Where's it gonna go?
It's like-
oh,
Is
so,
it go on the website or what?
so, yeah, that was actually, I remember what you were talking about. No, that was actually kind of like a,
She said like looking for ideas.
Yeah.
yeah, she was thinking of some ideas for creating a flyer for the event.
Yeah, I'm kind of behind the eight ball.
We could potentially put something together, but I'm not sure if we would have anything that the press would even use to publish.
This is
Next year.
this thing that she sent us, it's an annual, this is the 8th annual Cardboard Classic.
Yeah.
Great.
This is something that we could put in our brains and make it an annual.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I was kind of thinking. I
This is
don't
our
know if
test
we were
run.
Yeah.
Putting just something
many
very
ways.
basic together of when, where, and time.
You-
And then, I mean, I just, not to like totally copy, but just East Bay Township Annual Snow Day Fun Day was a name.
I like that.
I'm just saying this, but,
Say annual. just
if
say-
East Bay had a Facebook page, it'd be really easy to create an event. Like, Just be done with it.
Well, when I was there, I kept wishing that there'd be some kind of sign there. Like one of the groups that was coming had a sign that looks like they kind of regularly came. But I think some kind of post there, say, hey, come join us for the Community Fun Day, free hot chocolate and coffee. And I think,
Now, don't we have that kiosk there that we could put something in the kiosk?
yeah, nobody's going to look at, I mean, I
Nobody
don't
looks
think
at
that's,
that?
Yeah. the
I shouldn't have
kiosk
said
is-
that.
that's-
I think that if you put it on the pillars of the pavilion, it's right there. The kiosk would also be weather safe, that would be another good place, but I think just right there under the pavilion too would,
And once the warming hut's done too, I mean, it wouldn't be nothing just to tape
Yeah.
that inside and
Right.
So
people will
what-
see it for future.
We had a list of things that we were gonna do to advertise. So where is this press release going?
I'm just going to send it to the media outlets that East Bay historically uses. So I think usually the Record Eagle and all the major ones in town, yeah.
I don't think we'll have to really advertise it too
Okay.
much. I mean, people are going to be there regardless, sledding. I'm kind of doing a similar event.
You could also post it on your own personal social media
Yeah, I mean,
pages saying that. you know,
word of
hey,
mouth goes a long ways. I think it was in the last letter that the
Or you could
township
put a
sent
sign
out.
like-
Yeah, the newsletter.
Yeah, it was in the newsletter.
Is there
Um,
any way you could put it on the homepage of the website, like it's the little blurb in the corner?
Yeah,
Coming soon or whatever?
I'll work with Beth to make sure that we can get some coverage of that on the front page.
It was in the newsletter, wasn't it?
It was in the
Yeah, it
newsletter,
was.
yes.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And we could post it here at the township hall.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
don't need me to go on
sounds-
Ron Jolly?
Doesn't sound like we have the Ron Jolly invite yet.
So
Keep trying.
do we have hot chocolate at least coming, or?
Yeah.
Sounds like the township has secured the hot chocolate and coffee, so we're all good. It's all going to be in-house.
Cool, all right,
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
All right.
So am I. We're late.
All right, so we're all set with the sledding, it sounds like. We'll move forward to the item J4, Arbutus Lake number 5, and I believe Commissioner LaRose, you wanted to take the lead on this?
With the community garden and with the master gardener class, I learned a little about runoff and water. And so I just put some photos in there that someone sent me of Arbutus last summer of the runoff, which you all have copies of. And so I'm just brainstorming, thinking, other than the engineers have great resources, but we ourselves should do the township a favor and try to educate ourselves the best we can about stormwater and runoffs, and especially when we're dealing with our fragile resources in the township, which are our lakes, inland lakes. So I put attachments in there, photos. I also put attachments of different pervious concrete pavement. There is maintenance with that, so there's the good and the bad with it. There's also, I sent to Jake, but I'm sure there wasn't time to put that, maybe you could put that in just a handout form for the next meeting on, there's like, for other pervious surfaces, there's like a honeycomb type things that you can put in the ground. You can fill it full of either gravel or different items which would make it a pervious surface and accessible for wheelchairs and handicap of the like. And I do agree that in our engineering of Arbutus, that it is a key of that runoff. So if you can get those printed off for the next meeting, so the other commissioners can look at those too and just have thoughts on the importance. And also, I think in our Arbutus 5, we do have a rain garden on that list, and with my class, they were talking the importance of a rain garden, and your engineers would have a great resource, or they themselves are a good resource, because rain gardens are not just doing a ditch and putting a bunch of stones in and some plants. It's the location, the type of soil that you're dealing with in that particular area, because that area is different than what's at Jen's Park rain garden. But to make a rain garden that's actually functional for years and years to come, and that takes, the engineering part of it, the size, the sun it gets, the plants, the water retention. So just with those thoughts, which maybe up the road here in conversation with rain gardens this spring, when we do our parks review, we should really look at that. I'd be interested to see what that is now from what it was originally designed to do, because I think it's just faltered to a bunch of weeds and rocks. And that's really not the purpose of a real rain garden. There's also, if anyone's interested, I was trying to find the link. I can just send it to each of you for the email. There is a webinar the 25th. I think it's for an hour and a half, and it is about best management practices, stewardship through shoreline, and that's brought about with Eagle, and it's an hour and a half, and I can send you the link that you can sign up to. I'm going to attend, but I think, Jake, I sent you that link on that. I think it could be a good resource for us all to see what they have to say about that. So, again, maybe with that next month's packet, we can bring that forward. And once we get to the finalization and moving of dirt and that Arbutus 5, the engineer might be willing to come in and have what the thoughts are on the materials and such.
I've been told that the parking lot of Arbutus 5 is not to be touched during this project.
That
So,
doesn't mean we can't put it in our,
Right. for
in our
future.
2023.
And I'll
Correct.
tell you,
Correct.
right now, with that runoff, we need to do something maybe with that rain garden or something that can handle what's going on there now because that's so wrong. So yes, we did not factor any resurfacing and I totally get that. But that doesn't mean that we can go out for funding to get that taken care of properly or better than what it is right now with that asphalt. Because asphalt just runs the oils and the gas from cars and all of that into that subsoil, into the lake. So,
So if the runoff is coming from the main road there, I mean, is that something that we would need to reach out to the road commission for? Or-
Beth has been in touch with them, so, but partial, some of that could be the township's responsibility too, that we could maybe do some things interesting enough, ourselves, before they can get to it. So that's not gonna be a real fast, and Beth would probably have more information on that, but there are some things that we could do to help prevent that runoff from going into the water.
Well, I imagine that the responsibility would probably start with, the road commission, and then, some things are going to be out of our reach of doing, but I'm pretty sure the consultant, works with Eagle for a lot of this, don't they?
Eagle
Oh, they
has a
have-
lot of input on the runoff. I
And-
don't know what the input is, I just know that it exists.
Have they had any kind of recommendations or input?
They do.
I haven't seen what they
Yeah,
recommended.
I don't know why I know
They
this.
have.
I don't know why I know this,
I don't know either.
but I know that Eagle had input on runoff solutions for number
And I think
5,
that-
without redoing the parking lot.
Yes, but eventually, something's gonna have to be done with that. Asphalt just creates like you see in the picture, actual pathway. And I think we do owe it to everyone in East Bay Township to help preserve those inland lakes. So anyways, that's all. I just brought it so educational, you guys look it over, maybe you can do your own investigating in some different surfaces, because those surfaces can also be used not only at the pathways for Arbutus, but could maybe be pathways for the community garden or up there at the water tower. So there's a lot of fast forward thinking other than fresh gravel and asphalt out there.
All right. Well, that will bring us down to public comment number 2. Seeing that there's still no public here, we'll move forward to adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting tonight at 7:21.
Second.
Motion by LaRose, second by Lutz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm sorry.
Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned.